So our last movie of the day is Wes Anderson's The Fantastic Mr. Fox, also starring George Clooney and Merel Streep. All right, so this movie is about a fox who is retiring from his chicken stealing days because his wife and him get caught and they're going to have a baby, so he needs to buckle down, I guess. So he gets a job as a newspaper writer. So this is an animated film, so definitely they can do whatever they want. He's hitting his midlife crisis, and he decides he needs to move into bigger, he needs to project rich. So he moves into a tree out of a hole, which is the rich lifestyle. And when he moves in there, it puts him in direct proximity of the three biggest farmers of chicken, alcoholic cider, and frozen goods. So it puts him right in the middle of that, and of course he has flashbacks and decides that he's going to pull one last big heist against these farmers. And his nephew comes to visit because his uncle has double pneumonia or something. So his nephew comes and is an all-star super athlete that reminds Mr. Fox of himself back when he was young, and his poor derelict son who wears a superhero costume around, played by Jason Schwartzman, gets jealous and makes that other plot line of trying to win dad's affections. But overall, this movie was hilarious. It's just a fun little animated film. It's meant for everyone. It's PG, so it's got Wes Anderson's kind of bizarre family things, like his Royal Tenenbaums kind of feel. Yeah. Everything's kind of dry and kind of slow moving, but all the characters are really just out there, and they interact very queerly with each other. Yeah. But it has the traditional plot line that any Disney movie would follow. Yeah.
Well, it's based off a Roald Dahl novel.
Yeah. So the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory guy. Yeah. So that was, but I absolutely loved this movie. It had everything I love in a movie. Just the weirdness of Wes Anderson, and then it could relate to everybody.
Yeah. And what grade did you give that?
Oh, I definitely gave it an A.
An A, okay. I give it a B+. And I agree with you. I think this is probably Wes Anderson's strongest comedy since Rushmore. Because it doesn't have that emotional weight that Tenenbaums and Life Aquatic and Darjeeling Limited had. And I think by Darjeeling Limited, he was starting to get to the point of self-parody, I think, a little bit. And I think this movie really kind of, especially working with somebody else's material, it really helped focus him again. And I think it's brought out one of his stronger films through doing this. And the voice acting is really good. And I watched a little documentary on the DVD featurettes about how they did that. And rather than just having everyone in a studio separately recording different tracks, they took boom mics out and had the people actually act out the movie as they were going in sound studios, and sometimes even outside and stuff like that, and to get more real performances out of them, and I think you can feel that. Also, I think the animation in this movie is stunning. We haven't seen this kind of stop animation in a while since, I think, Henry Selick, of course, his movies do that, and they do it pretty well, and I think they're probably the main competition here. But it was good to see it in a kind of a different sort of way. I think there's a lot of whimsy in the animation style here. So I was a big fan of this, and it's just nice to be able to go to my job, and since I have to mostly watch kids' movies, I finally get to watch a Wes Anderson movie at work now. Yeah. And thank you, Wes Anderson, for that.
Nice. I think the big reason actually I was going to bring this up is because he replaces a lot of stuff with the word cuss. Yeah. So I thought that was just hilarious. I mean, even though they say it like 10,000 times in the movie of what the cuss was that and stuff, and what's the cuss is wrong with that kid, but each time you hear it, it's playful enough that I just really
and it's a great way to get through the censors. Yeah. Because adults know exactly what they're saying, and probably, let's be honest, kids do too. And in a way, it kind of shows the hypocrisy of how swear words are treated in American society, that it's just a word. You can replace it with anything.
Yeah.
And it works just the same way. So I thought that was great. And there's just lots of funny, quirky Wes Anderson-y type stuff in there. I love my favorite character probably throughout the whole thing is Kylie, the opossum, who's Mr. Fox's right-hand man.
You're just
who just stares blankly like opossums do.
Yeah, it's just...